I decided to start wide and uncomfortably close this week, as I wanted to share with you just exactly how much money I made during my first year as a freelancer in this filmmaking game. It's stereotypically not very English to talk about money. It can come across as bragging, I get that. But at least in the context of the film industry and my personal career, it's something that I'm keen to share on this channel. As for so many years, I've been in the dark on rates and expectations, knowing your worth, making a living, trying to grow and progress in your career, all the while trying to delicately strike some sort of happiness versus just making money balance. One of the few things I managed to find online that shed any light on just one area of the industry was the published budget of M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, many moons ago now. I was shocked to see what sort of figures were being spent where, and the sorts of fees that were being given to both crew and talent. There are obviously so many different areas of the industry with different standards of pay, but this is how much money I made in my first year as a freelancer in the industry. It's worth mentioning that at this point in my life I was still transitioning out of my music career into a more full-time film one. You can learn more about my journey in this earlier video here. There were large blocks of times where I was either touring or in the studio, so unable to work. But this is what I managed to achieve outside of those hours. So before Xero or accountants, I just used to keep track of everything in a spreadsheet. And this is what I would call my first full year as a freelancer, where I spent more time trying to do this than most anything else. You can see up the top here, that's invoice number 35 there. So 34 jobs before that. Were they worth writing about or making a video on the internet about? Probably not. That would have been over the space of about 5 years up until this point, like little jobs here and there. But yeah, basically in my first full year as a freelancer, I got paid £10,823.55. And I spent £3,120.96. £7,702.59. It's not great, but me at the age of 21, 22, 23, one of those ages, that's how much I made. And as you can see here, that was from all sorts of different jobs. This job here was doing some pickups and re-edits. At this point, I didn't own a camera, so whenever I was shooting something, I would go to Ian, my first ever employer in the video world, and I would pay him to rent his kit off him. If I was making more money, he'd make me pay more. If he was making less, he'd charge me less. I might have been getting 250 quid to shoot and edit this thing, but I then spent £75 straight away. Then I started getting in little editing jobs, £150 a pop. So I'm only really making like £75 a day at this point, age 22. And I was happy for the work. At the time, that seemed like a lot of money to me. I'm doing so many making of videos. I would charge a fee for filming, a fee for editing, plus travel. Tower Wolf making ofs. They paid me 150 quid to film for a whole 12-hour day and then edit 2 making ofs because they filmed 2 videos in one day. 5 days work, I got 150 quid. Wicked. But I didn't even get 150 quid because I had to pay for the equipment rental. So I actually got 100 quid. But this is what I was doing at the time. Noah Stewart making of, my first big paying one. I remember we were actually in the studio for 6 weeks recording our second album at the time in the band that I was in. Did I mention I'm in the band? I got this like, oh, Scott, we really like your making of. Someone recommended you because of blah, blah, blah. Are you available to do this one? We've only got $1,000 all in. And I was like, what? I've never made that much money before on a job. As you can see, it was like 1 day filming. Took me a day and a half, 2 days to edit. Game changer to me. So I actually took 2 days out in the middle of the recording to drive back up to London, film this making of, and then drive all the way back down to Devon. It's like a 12-hour round trip. It was totally worth it. As you can see, I paid a little bit more on the equipment rental because I was making more. 800 quid there. 3 days work, essentially. Big time for me. The tides are changing in this year. I'm going from like making 50 quid to making nearly $1,000 in 5 days. But as you can see from all of these invoicing dates, all of this work, it's not on a very regular basis. You've got to account for 2 or 3 jobs that I probably had to turn down that fell in the middle of a tour or something that I couldn't do. Not a lot, but there was some stuff. This Boy Jumps Ship promo, £420 they paid me. I paid £130 on travelling, £200 to rent kit, and I had to drive to and from Newcastle, which was like 6 hours from where I lived. But at the time I was like, oh, I want to make music videos, so I'll do whatever I can. Plenty of things down here where I haven't actually made any money at all. Here you go, Scholars promo, didn't make any money. Work experience, totally got mugged off there. I was like trying to find whatever work I could. Went for meetings, did a day's filming for free, did an edit for free, nothing. But a chance to learn, a chance to experiment. Anyway, that's how much money I made in my arguably first full year as a freelancer. If you made it this far, then I'm guessing that didn't ball the pants off you. And if you'd like to hear more money talk in the industry, then definitely check out this playlist here. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more semi-helpful tips and interesting insider industry knowledge.